मेरा नाम है Rumy.
When you made the decision to come back from America, so that was a long time back.
That was in end of 1970. I almost got here in the first week of 1971. And I started my practice along with my old school, college colleague rather, an architect, and we started a firm. We stayed as partners for almost 6.5 or 7 years. And in 1977 we split, and from that point onwards I am on my own. It's a proprietary concern now. I have my staff and my associates, that's different. But it's a proprietary concern. No partners. Associates means they are on a profit sharing basis depending on the jobs that they do, and that's it.
So in retrospect, coming back, do you think was a right decision you made?
I think absolutely. And that is one of the reasons I continued to hold on to my green card almost 4 or 5 years after I came back. And it got to be a little difficult to keep going every year to retain that so-called green card, which was a myth, because in the sense that just because you went there every year, there was no guarantee that you were entitled to retain your green card. You were supposed to live there and pay your taxes, file your returns, etc., which was not being done. So when I consulted an attorney there, he said that you are just lucky that they have not raised this question. You are using your green card in lieu of a visa. And the day they realize that, they are one day going to pack you off. So I said, why am I going through this hassle? Why don't I just apply for a visa? Because actually there were more disadvantages to holding on to that green card than advantages. Every time I would come against an obstacle, that thought would come to my mind, Salah, why the hell did I come back? Why don't I go back? But once you remove that option, then you know that you have to face this problem, fight it out, come out of it, and get going. So now, for years, quite a lot of my family from my mother's side is already settled there in the United States. We all went almost at the same time, but they stayed back. I was the only one who came back. So I do go there often. I enjoy going to the United States. I enjoy going to London. But then after 8-10 days, I feel restless. I miss home. The reason being, there is nothing for me to do there. I am not occupied. How much can you go out? How much can you meet with friends? How much can you eat out? I mean, that's about the nature of the things that you do when you travel, you see. And that gets a little boring, you see, after a while. So from that point of view, I have no regrets whatsoever. I have not made a killing in the financial sense. I have lived a decent life. I've been able to give my children a good education. What more do you want in life? I mean, let's be realistic, na? My needs have been taken care of. My wants are almost non-existent. I am a very content person.
It's interesting you said needs and wants.
Yeah.
Not many people understand the concept of needs and wants.
Well, I mean, needs is something without which you can't survive, you can't sustain yourself. And wants is anything beyond that, you see. And there is no end to those wants. Where do you draw the line? It's a rat race. It's an absolute rat race. It's a bottomless pit. And if you don't understand that, then God help you. That's all I can say.
Do you think this generation understands the concept of needs and wants?
I think they have almost converted the wants into needs, you see. They are not able to distinguish between wants and needs. I mean, I can understand you want to go out and eat over the weekend. Now you can go out with your friends and have as good a time with your friends if you went to a nice place, had a good meal, I mean a masala dosa or something like that, and you could go to the Taj and have a fancy meal at the Zodiac Grill. Does that contribute to your level of satisfaction? I don't know. What is it that has given you that satisfaction? It is, to my mind, meeting with your friends, sharing precious time with them, enjoying the same wavelength of conversation, having an affection for each other, getting the message across to each other that we are friends. And when you say we are friends in need, friends indeed. And quite honestly, the food that you get in these cheap joints is 10 times better than the holy shit that is served in this so-called fancy restaurants. You see, they are jib joints. And those are places which, if you are on a company account, you don't bet an eyelid. I'd like to see how many people pay out of their own pocket. And then poor suckers get dragged because they see these fancy names going there. So they think if you want to be perceived as being in, you have to be seen there. I'm not against it. Please don't misunderstand me. But I think if you do it once or twice a year, 3 times a year, fine, there is a certain variety to it. But if you make it an everyday affair, then the charm is lost, you see. Then the charm is lost.